Happy Friday. You're watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. Hope all of you watching are getting set to have a fantastic weekend. And no matter where you're watching, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for supporting Chat Sports and making us a part of your day. Coming up on the show today, candidates for Mr. Mankato. Some training camp standouts up to this point for the Minnesota Vikings. But first, let's rally, let's have some fun, let's get hyped up for the upcoming 2022 season. This is a team to be excited about. So if you're ready for the regular season to begin, I want you to type SKULL in the comment section right now. The chant, one of the best among all teams in the NFL, SKULL, SKULL, SKULL. Rally around your squad. Let's hear from you right now down below. So training camp standouts and candidates for Mr. Mankato for Minnesota. I want to start here with Akayleb Evans, the mid-round, fourth-round pick from the 2022 NFL Draft, having a pretty good training camp up to this point. He's absorbing this fan base. He's loving the experience. And in training camp, he's been a dog, showing off that mentality that he's not scared of some of the best wide receivers in the NFL and Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And he's been challenging Jefferson all throughout camp. And that's really impressive. For a rookie mid-round pick who's trying to prove himself, he is displaying dog traits on the defensive side of the football for Minnesota and not showing any fear against a wide receiver who is injecting fear in defensive backs all throughout last year and up to this point has had a great career as he's off to just a wonderful start in his respective NFL career. And Akayleb Evans, if he works out, if he continues to show lockdown cornerback ability against Jefferson, he could be one of the steals of the 2022 NFL Draft. And this new regime compiling and putting together some pretty good talent on this roster as they usher in this new era. And I alluded to this earlier as a little bit of a tease. Akayleb Evans, he's embracing Minnesota. He's got the purple hair with the Minnesota Vikings baseball jersey there, taking full advantage of the hype train right now. And this cornerback depth chart, something to be hyped up about. You look at what the Vikings have across the board. It's a nice little mixture of veterans with some really good emerging young players. Cameron Dantzler, he can break out. He's been a little bit slow up to this point, but he has all the ability. Andrew Booth is a guy who we're going to talk about today. Another one of those draft picks in the second round for Minnesota who a lot of people are excited about. Chandon Sullivan is very steady, really displayed a lot of ability against the rival Green Bay Packers, and you have the future Hall of Famer in Patrick Peterson. Now, where will some of these young players like Evans end up on this cornerback depth chart? At least as of now, it's good to have that depth. So whether he's a starter or a backup, this position group in a good position moving forward. Do you think that he will unseat any of those aforementioned players who we just showed you on the screen and start as a rookie? Want to hear from you once more. S for start, WS for won't start. Voice your opinions right now in the comment section. At number 4, Harrison Phillips, who's been having his way against this Minnesota offensive line, especially an offensive lineman who we talked about yesterday who has not, frankly, been good. That is Garrett Bradbury. And the free agent acquisition for Minnesota on that 3-year, $19.5 million contract in Harrison Phillips coming over from Buffalo. This is a live look at him going up against Garrett Bradbury. It has not been much of a competition all throughout training camp, which is good for one reason, because you sign Phillips to that contract, you want him to work out. It's not good because the center position, the heart of the interior on that offensive line, led by Garrett Bradbury, is not faring so well in training camp so far. And that's without preseason games going down, when sometimes the competition gets ratcheted up. Big man dominating. That's what he's been able to do. He's going to anchor this defensive line. And you got to think about the defensive side of the football in this way. In certain instances, right? So for Phillips, he's really at the heart of that defensive line. Think of it like offensive linemen opening up holes for running back, but on the defensive side. Going to open up those lanes for Kendricks as well as Hicks to bear down and attack the opposing offense. Just because I want to go here, we're going to go here, baby. If you hate the Green Bay Packers, subscribe to the channel, and also in the comment section, you can type FGB. It's been a little bit of a movement here at Chat Sports, but most importantly, subscribe for the best Vikings talk here on YouTube as this channel continues to grow. Shout out to producer Seeps. Mr. Mankato standout, number 3, Andrew Booth, as we continue to go through this order. Now, this second-round pick is the guy who, at Clemson, I really liked his game, had that potential, had good range, was very feisty and aggressive, but here's the important thing for a cornerback. Not always overly aggressive, where you can get beat trying to go for a pick or over-pursuing on some of your coverage of these great wide receivers. Had a great interception against Justin Jefferson, so that's yet another rookie and young player faring well against one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the league who's about to get paid in about a calendar year and has the swagger that you want in a cornerback. This is something that Vikings fans were excited about this week in practice. This coming from Will Regatz. Man, Andrew Booth Jr., confident dude. He's in Amir Smith-Marsette's face after a rep yelling, "You don't want to get physical with me." And it's important at what might be the most difficult position on the football field outside of quarterback, for cornerbacks, it's really important for them to show that confidence because you're going to get beat. You're going to get whistled for a pass interference call, because rules are catered to offenses nowadays, and wide receivers often win those battles. But you can always come back with that short mindset as a corner and come through with the big pass breakup, come through with the big interception, but you have to have that confidence and bounce back ability, and Andrew Booth has displayed that so far. He's not going to get down in the dumps after getting beat or flagged from time to time. Another guy who I'm excited to talk about is K.J. Osborn. Are we sleeping on him? Is he one of the best third wide receivers in the NFL, considering what he was able to do last year with nearly 700 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns on a team and on the field with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen? Think about that production, and that's another reason why you should be pretty amped up about this offense and the potential of it. And you have Dalvin Cook as the running back. Got a lockdown offensive line, but you have 3 really good wide receivers. One of the best running backs in the NFL for Kirk Cousins, who no doubt is about in that upper-ish tier after the elite guys of quarterbacks in the NFL. Osborn last year, you look at the numbers, 50 catches, 655 yards, average yards per catch at 13. That's a really good number with 7 touchdowns. Explosive. You can use him in the red zone all across the field. You can line him up outside, inside, depending on what you want to do and the versatility you want to display with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And then the run game. You get that manufactured, matriculating down the field. It opens up the pass game for these weapons to thrive and flourish. Who do you think will have more yards this upcoming season? Now, a lot of you are going to say, oh, no doubt Adam Thielen. I'm typing my 1.9. I don't think it's a sure thing that Adam Thielen dominates Osborn in terms of receiving yards. So let me know you see what you got to submit in the comment section. Do that right now. Lastly, this is good news because Cameron Dantzler, he was a rumored trade candidate last year going into the NFL trade deadline because the Vikings weren't always happy with what he was bringing as that high draft pick who wasn't living up to expectations. But it's that time of the year where best shape of life season comes into play, and Cameron Dantzler, this might be his last chance because he hasn't proven to live up to those lofty expectations as I talked about, but he's looked to taking it seriously and taking it personally. He's added muscle this offseason and has made plays consistently all camp. And iron sharpens iron. This is the case for all of these wide receivers and all of these defensive backs on this roster, and that's why this competition so far throughout training camp has been so closely contested on the offensive and defensive side of the footballs with these two position groups. The cornerbacks are getting great reps against Jefferson and Thielen are giving useful reps to the young corners on the other side to help develop them, but also test a guy like Cameron Dantzler. And the fact that they're competing is promising because competition brings the best out of everybody. Iron sharpens iron. You already know the deal. Before we hop on out of here, I told you earlier to type FGB if you think the Vikings will beat the Packers in Week 1. Let's run it back, because why not? FGB in the comment section. Thanks for watching the show today, and we'll see you next time.